record on this computer. There. So, what's going on, everyone? You're listening to 99 Yards here with your host, Adibot. And today, we got a special guest on the show. You want to introduce yourself?
Mr. Hard, Clean, and Crispy himself,
Yeah.
Zdario, a.k.a. Jimmy Dean.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'm here. Glad to be on.
Man, thanks for coming on.
Problem.
Yeah, so, guys, obviously, don't know this will be a part of the Super Bowl podcast.
Yes, sir.
It's a segment, so of course this should be, depending on how it go with editing, this should be the second segment.
Mm-hmm.
And last one we had OJ, and then we got OG, but today or right now we got Zdario, and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into this. So and as we said, I don't have the advertisements here because of the fact that it's gonna be one whole thing, and y'all already heard one. And I'm not gonna kind of put y'all through 30 seconds of that because respect, too many ads. I do want to get paid, but I ain't gonna put y'all through that. So yeah, let's get into it. So start off. Who you got?
I gotta go with Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I mean, I have to. Just have to.
Yeah.
Sure.
I got the Bucs myself, and it's scary because we've always seen Tom Brady be the favorites. We've always seen him be the favorite. But we've never seen him be an underdog. And this is the first time I think we've ever seen that.
100%. Because the high-power offense with Patrick Mahomes, you just can't bet against them, especially because they were in the Super Bowl last year. And it's just the offense and Patrick Mahomes, man. They're just so explosive, so many weapons.
Yeah.
You just can't, but it's just Tom Brady. Like, something about winning his big games for Tom Brady,
And it's scary because, like, this is also the best offense, in my opinion, he's ever been with.
Yes, sir. I agree.
Because, like, his best targets was probably Gronk, who he has now.
Yeah.
But, of course, not the same Gronk. But his best receiver was probably Randy Moss whenever he was, like, 34, 35? Whenever he came.
Yeah, 100%. Yes, sir.
And now he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. And I think AB is coming back as well.
Oh, yeah, I believe he is.
Yeah, he's coming back. So
a lot of people are sleeping on that offense because Tom Brady got a lot of weapons as well.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like all these people, everybody, they hyped it up and then downplayed it. It was like they were the favorites coming into the season, but yet after like everyone was like, oh no, they're overrated. They aren't gonna do what everybody thought they were gonna do. They were like everybody was treating them like they were the Browns from a couple years ago when they built that super team and then couldn't do anything with it. But and for some reason, whenever people slept on them, they just went off, and Tom Brady did Tom Brady stuff.
Exactly.
And yeah. What do you think about the Scotty Miller though? Because he's an underrated receiver, but he went out and said the thing about he's faster than Tyreek Hill. Now that's yeah. What do you think about that? You think he's saying too much, or
he's saying way too much? Tyreek Hill is the fastest man in the NFL. He backs it up with big plays down the field. Tyreek, he's just a different breed. And I think he's way over himself right now.
Scotty Miller was surprisingly fast though. I will give him that. He ran like a 4.3 or something like that. He ran something crazy like that, but not at all faster than Tyreek Hill. Not at all. Tyreek's like he's just different. Like he never ran a 40, which was sad because he may have broken now John Ross's record.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's tough for that. But like Scotty Miller, like he is one of those guys that we see Tom Brady make a like career out of, like Wes Welker, Julian Edelman. So that
100%.
Definitely like, and we saw the Green Bay play. The Green Bay that last second second half or first half last play that was crazy. But man, what do you think is the biggest factor in this game?
In this game, well, for Tampa, they got to keep the Chiefs off the field. Like, they got to control possession. Just keep Patrick Mahomes off the field, because if they keep him on the field, they can generate more points and more points. And for the Chiefs, I would say, obviously, you got to get pressure on Tom Brady. Don't let him get too comfortable. You let him sit back there and dot you up, you're gonna have a long night. But I think Tampa defense is somewhat, better than the Chiefs defense.
I
That's
yeah, I
something.
could see that.
That's nice.
Tampa's defense, I think, is definitely better. Uh, like things like their secondary
Yeah,
is just younger, but that secondary is still playing very great. But I think the Chiefs, they don't rely on their defense. I think you mentioned the
exactly.
run game earlier. I think a big factor in this game. I mentioned this with the other segment with OJ was Chris Jones and that D line. If
Yeah,
Tampa can neutralize that D line and generate offense running the ball, that's
yeah,
where they're going to be able to succeed. And
I
they
agree.
got they got Ronald Jones, Leonard Fournette. So that's gonna be scary.
It is
And that O line has actually been playing really good. They've been playing really good.
for real.
Yeah, like they got it's like a makeshift O line right now. They got a makeshift O line and they're
Yeah.
somehow pulling it together. They got eh, Kappa's out. That's who was the guard, and they've been able to fit some pieces in there, and they've played the best. But yeah, definitely. And that defense has stepped up though. That defense has stepped up in the
Yeah.
sense like they were already playing good, but like the front seven has really stepped up. Like Jason Pierre-Paul, all those guys.
Oh yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and they really want it. They really want to go out and win that. They really do because we see it in the Chiefs. Like they were the Super Bowl champs and the favorites coming into it. So
Mhm.
they kind of. I wouldn't be surprised if they basically the Patriots what from a couple years ago. That's basically in
Exactly.
the position that they were in.
Hmm.
And I think that right now the Bucks want it more. Like Chiefs, they got it last year, but like what we saw versus Green Bay and just this whole playoffs, I think they just wanted that win more.
I agree. I agree because especially with Tampa's defense, I've been watching them and they got some turnovers on some Hall of Fame
Hmm.
quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And I feel
Yeah,
like
definitely.
that defense is definitely slept on.
Hmm.
I just feel like it sounds crazy, but as a complete team, I think Tampa is better. It just the Chiefs that offense and Andy Reid with his play calling and stuff. But we're gonna see. It's gonna be a good one. It's
It
gonna be
really
a
will.
definite
It
good
really
one. Yeah,
will.
I think it
And
is.
I mean, there's not a game like that I remember. Like I've never been in a position where I wanted Tom Brady to win. I'm a Giants fan, and we were talking about this. I don't know what it is, but like something about Tom Brady as a Giants fan. We beat
Yeah,
him twice, but like I still never wanted to see him win. But this is the first time I'm going for Tom Brady. This is the first time I'm going for him, and it's just
yeah,
there's something about this game. There's just something about it. Like it's just different. It's not like
it is.
anything else. Like last year's game, it was like there wasn't like any
It was. Yeah, it
energy.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't
It wasn't
exciting.
hype.
Yeah,
I didn't feel any that energy.
I
And
understand.
there's a few games that are like that. And there's like one like the Eagles, that game versus the Patriots, that game
Yeah,
I that had the energy coming
yeah,
into it. And this game has more than that. This game just something about it. Like it's just different. And
yeah.
I
We have had like a Super Bowl like in a long time. Like just the
yeah.
intensity, the two quarter. Yeah, like the goat versus the baby goat, and
Hmm.
all this, all the storyline going into it. Tampa is
Hmm.
at home. It's just a lot.
Oh yeah, Tampa.
A
Yeah,
lot
Tampa
going
at
on.
home is like. I think the Falcons had a chance at doing that a couple years ago. I thought they did it, but like that's gonna be crazy just going into it. And I think people downplay that. I think they do.
Yeah.
They
So
underestimate how.
you think Tampa has like a good you think home field like it's gonna be a major part of the Super
Oh
Bowl,
yeah,
or you think it's just any other Super Bowl?
and I don't think it's gonna impact the game. But what
Yeah,
I think it will impact is I think OJ was saying this. I think Kansas is flying in here today or tomorrow.
yeah,
Um, Tampa doesn't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry
exactly.
about traveling. So Chiefs have to like waste the day basically just traveling, getting prepared, just getting set here.
Hmm.
Tampa's at home at their own houses with their family,
Exactly.
and I
The
think
crowd
that's the
loves
aspect that yeah, that's what people are downplaying, and that's that preparation is gonna be big,
Yeah,
and like coming in here like late, they're not even gonna get like to get much on like the field. Sometimes that impacts the game.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So like going towards this game, who do you think is gonna come out like more on fire, like as far as offensively?
What I think is that Chiefs at first will just be the Chiefs,
Yeah,
and Tampa will, like just get a slow rolling start,
yeah,
and then later on just build up a bigger head of steam and just go at it like towards the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I think both of these quarterbacks, whenever they're down, that's probably gonna be the best time. That's gonna be the best part of the game when one of them are down. Because we saw Mahomes last year, like in the Super Bowl, he wasn't supposed to win that game.
Exactly.
He was down
In
10
the
points
fourth
in
quarter,
10 minutes.
yeah. It didn't make
He
sense.
wasn't supposed to win that. We've seen Tom Brady, his first Super Bowl, his first 2 Super Bowls. He
Mhm.
wasn't supposed to do that. He was a 6th round pick. He was coming back. He had to like go downfield, get a field goal. He wasn't supposed to do that.
Exactly.
And yet he did. And
All right.
those are the type of players we're looking at.
So I you probably heard about this as well. They say what if like if Tom Brady wins, Patrick Mahomes probably would never ever catch up to Tom Brady as far as like the GOAT situation
I
because
did hear
Patrick
that.
Mahomes, he has potential. So
Oh,
do you
no.
think does that if he wins this, does it matter or not? Or like
See,
Mahomes would still do it?
it's gonna be a tough one because like I don't think the way I see it like is Tom Brady's gonna retire if he wins it. I think
Mhm.
so. He probably won't get the opportunity again.
Yeah.
But I just feel like it's gonna become more of like if like it's gonna become like LeBron versus Jordan. It's gonna be
Yeah.
the Brady fans are gonna use it against him, but I feel like to me it wouldn't impact him as much. But I still see him creating his own dynasty in Kansas.
Yeah.
So that's what I see. What about you?
He can't. I feel like if he does lose it still, I feel like he can't catch up to Tom Brady unless Patrick Mahomes lets him keep this team together, which I think they will. But it's gonna be super hard because teams are getting better. You know, you saw what Matthew Stafford and the Rams, they got them potentially going to the Super Bowl, and there's so many
Yeah.
other teams. I don't think he could catch up to Brady. I feel like you know they use with the LeBron and MJ, they're in their own GOAT category. I feel like this might be it. As far as what I said.
Yeah, like, and I didn't think anyone was even gonna give a get a chance at giving Brady a run for his money.
Yes.
I thought the closest we were gonna see is probably Aaron Rodgers. I really didn't think that we were gonna see one after Tom Brady, and like I actually didn't even have Tom. It's crazy. I didn't even have Tom Brady as the GOAT going into the season, and now I like completely changed my mind. I actually had Drew Brees, and
Drew Brees.
yeah, I actually had Drew Brees, and that was more because I was looking at stats. So, and I still think Drew Brees is the statistical GOAT. But I thought, well, there's only maybe 4 or 5 players who were even allowed to be in the conversation. I thought it was like Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, and maybe A-Rod. But in A-Rod, like I just don't see it because of the accolades.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can find a couple more players, but like other quarterbacks are just not allowed to be in that conversation. You just cannot put them in the conversation for GOAT. Until now.
Because like with the GOAT conversation about Aaron Rodgers, people are just saying that like most people say that he's the most talented QB we've ever seen.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he hasn't like the winning is not there. Like I'm not like winning as far as like championships and like his he's stuck in the NFC championship multiple years.
Yeah. Definitely. Like he came close again this year.
Exactly.
And it's just the fact that he's not able to win.
Exactly.
Just not able to. And
I don't blame Aaron Rodgers. It's just that organization.
Like,
he's not. Yeah, go
he
ahead.
made Mike McCarthy look good. Like,
yeah.
And now we saw what Mike McCarthy really is without a quarterback.
Exactly.
And he isn't that great of a coach. He really wasn't. And he really never was. And it was really just Aaron Rodgers being great.
Exactly.
And yeah, and I left out one player who wasn't even a quarterback. That's why I left him off. But it was Jerry Rice was another player who I still think can make a case for being the GOAT because he has what, like 100 records or something like that.
Exactly.
Man, that's crazy. But he to me is the Kobe Bryant of the NFL.
Oh, okay. I never heard of that. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, because their work ethic. They were known for their work ethic, and I would put Jerry where in that frame where Kobe is, that 2 to 3 range.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call and maybe even the GOAT. So and that's what and then I see like and right now, like if I do you use the app You Heard? Have you ever checked that out? Yeah.
Nah. I
No.
think I heard of it.
Yeah, OG and OJ have been going on that a couple times, but I posted something on there. I said well, Brady to me, actually no, those, but right now in like ranking, I say like Mahomes is probably gonna become LeBron, and Brady's basically gonna be the MJ, and it's so, but yeah, just going into this, I don't know. Like Patty Mahomes, he has something to prove, but it depends on what he's gonna do later on.
Exactly.
Like we've seen what him make it. He's basically contended every single year he's a starter. He he basically was. He lost in the conference championship his first year as a starter.
Yeah.
To Brady, and then he won the Super Bowl. Then he won the then he's in the Super Bowl now. That's a great way to start out the career. That's absolutely great, and that's already and it's crazy because that's already enough or more accolades than Drew Brees. So he's already overtaken some great players.
100%. 100%. I agree. Got some great takes.
Yeah. So who do you think will be like the unsung hero of this? Because there's a lot of players going into this. I saw a graphic. It was like they basically put stars on each player, and they were like Chiefs have 5, Bucks have 3, 8 total, stuff like that, and then Bucks have more 4 stars, stuff like that. There was a graphic I saw.
Yeah.
But who do you think is gonna be the X factor, basically? The players
X factor for the Chiefs. I'm gonna have to go Tyrann Matthew. Okay.
Yeah, I can see
Here's why. Especially the whole defense. Both defenses for both teams got to handle business. But him as safety, he had to do a lot of work inside the box, covering. Maybe Mike Evans, covering the whole field. I feel like if he gets a few good plays, like some deflections on a 3rd and long or interception or something big, I feel like he could be the X factor that
Definitely.
we probably when we talk about. And for Tampa, I want to go with Evans. I'm gonna go Mike Evans here because
yeah,
he sometimes I was watching the NFC Championship game. He dropped some passes that should have been caught, but I feel like he's gonna be that guy that the go-to for Tom Brady when like I said, 3rd down, it's an important down. He needs it. He'll need to make some big plays, big catches, put it that way. Especially definitely in the red zone. But he just have to show up.
Yeah. And that's in that red zone. If they can capitalize, I think both teams will be able to capitalize in the red zone and make use of those opportunities. But if they slip up one time, and we're talking about 2 high caliber teams, even taking a field goal at this point is slipping up in a way, because you don't know how many points the other team will put up against you. And if Mike Evans can be that guy in the red zone,
he can. He got the size and all. We all know Mike Evans.
Yeah, no, he is a freak in nature. He's one of those guys that you just cannot believe even exists.
They talk about Gronk and guys.
He's what, 6'5"?
Yeah, he dude's huge. They under like
he's like a tight end who just he was like meant to be a tight end, but he said nah. I don't want to play tight end. He has the speed, he has everything. That guy is just huge. And
I feel like he should feel that because like they talking about all the other wide receivers going to this game, and we use them talk about Mike Evans like we usually would because there's so many weapons that Brady has as well as the Chiefs. I feel like Mike Evans, we're gonna remember his name after the Super Bowl, like even more.
Yeah, and it's just crazy because like Mike Evans, he had to deal with Jameis Winston basically through first season. He still went off. His first few seasons were that team. I mean, the major change in the offseason was just Brady. That's it. And of course, that's huge for the quarterback position. But like, it went from the worst quarterback to the best, and we finally see how great this team is. this team, there's players on the defense even. I would even say, to me, the X factors are probably going to be, well, for the Chiefs, as I mentioned, I would say the D line, the Chris Jones,
Yeah.
and for the Bucks, I would have to say that it's probably that front seven. That front seven. If I can't really pick one guy out of there.
Yeah.
If I had to pick, I'd probably just go Jason Pierre-Paul because of the way he's been playing. He got 2 sacks, I think, the first game or versus Green Bay.
Can I ask
So
you a quick question?
yeah, go ahead.
Who do you think will get sacked more in the Super Bowl, Mahomes or Brady?
Ooh. See, Mahomes did lose Eric Fisher, and Mitchell Schwartz has been battling that back issue. So that's going to be interesting O-line. But
Yeah.
I think I actually take Mahomes. I was gonna say Brady. I'll take Mahomes. And the reason is I just think that offense for the Bucks will just be quicker. And I don't think will see Brady having struggles in the pocket, which he really never has had. But I just think that O line for the Bucks has been able to hold true to themselves and just being able to keep Brady and keep a clean pocket for Brady, just even 3 seconds. But
Yeah.
and I don't think it will be a high sack game. I think it's just gonna be like maybe 3-2, maybe 3-1. I don't think it'll be a high sack game. But yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know because I feel like Pat Mahomes, we already know his style. Running around, run like thinning plays and stuff like that. Versus Tom Brady, like you said, 3 seconds to get out of his hand. I don't know. We're gonna see it. That's all I can say.
And again, I'm not saying that like I don't think it would change the game. There's games like the 07 Super Bowl that D line, they changed the game.
Yeah.
Michael Strahan changed that game with sacks. I don't think it will be one of those games. I just think it's gonna be plays that wide receivers can't get open and Mahomes just needs to take a sack. That's all I think it comes down to on that. And that's the beauty of this team's like even if like they're down, like even if like they're in a bad situation, they have all the playmakers to get out of it. So
like game, this will go down to the very end. Like,
oh yeah, no, it's going down. And what's your score prediction before we get into that? What's your score prediction?
I actually had a few because I kept changing my mind and stuff. Like for one, I would say like this predictions for like a higher scoring game. I had something like 38-35. Then my other one was 30. Was it 31-35, something like that?
Okay.
I have a very high scoring. I know it sounds crazy, but I just feel like it's gonna be a shootout for some reason.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely think it's gonna be a shootout. It's just gonna be disappointing if it's not. It really will, because there it is. Oh, finally it's on. Okay. But basically the I had 34-27.
34-27.
It's either gonna be by a field goal or touchdown. I don't think it's gonna be anything more than that. It's gonna be a 1-score game. It just comes down to 1 score. But if we can just get, it's just gonna be like last drive, just last drive. I think the last drive will be the game. Either it's the team that needs to score, or the team needs to hold the ball and just run the clock out. It's gonna come down to that last drive. And those are the games I just enjoy watching. Those are just like we could see the games like this year we saw Tennessee, that last play. That play was crazy.
Yeah, it was.
And it was just we could see something crazy like that. But it's gonna be one of those games. There's not gonna be a moment that you can miss. But yeah.
What about the tight end? The tight end matchup with Gronk and Kelsey.
Ooh. Gronk, I don't think it's for the Bucks. It's more Gronk, OJ Howard, and Cameron Brate versus Kelsey. So, but I don't think that like there's tight ends. But see, it really depends on who the linebackers are and how they can cover. Because Bucks actually have great coverage guys as linebackers. They have Levante David, Devin White. So really comes down to that, and it's more of like the weakest versus the weakest defense versus the best, and it really just looks like, and that's what killed the Packers. That's what, or not the Packers, sorry, the Bills. They accounted for Hill downfield, but they weren't able to keep Kelsey in check. It's crazy because Bills actually have one of the best pass coverage linebackers. They have Matt Milano, Tremaine Edmonds, all those guys out there. And they still weren't able to. And it's just who do you want to kill you basically? Like who do you want killing you downfield or just getting to? Do you want Tyreek Hill, one play, keep it quick, or Kelsey like 10 catches for 150 yards? You know, basically that.
The middle of the field should be kind of open. I mean, it depends on what defense they're trying to run,
Yeah.
but they can be focused on Tyreek Hill, especially on the deep ball.
Yeah.
They should so Kelsey, he should eat up pretty well to the Super Bowl, but Tyreek Hill, I mean, I feel like he has probably had one play, maybe two.
Mm-hmm. And the first game, he had the 200-yard first quarter. He was on pace to get like 900 yards, 800 yards. But they were able to adjust to that in one quarter. And they kept him in check for just that 200 yards. He just got the 200 yards in first quarter and didn't do anything else. But then Kelsey came in and he did his thing. And then if you get all of those guys situated, you get, like Kelsey doesn't do anything, Hill doesn't do anything. Then you got to worry about McCole Hardman. Then you got to worry about Demarcus Robinson. I think he's still there.
Yeah.
And then there's so many players on both of these teams, even on the Tampa Bay side. You got to worry about 4 receivers, basically, 3 tight ends, and 2 running backs, basically. And then, of course, Tom Brady. He doesn't even need any of those. He just needs players on the field.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's going to be – it just – who will let up on defense? And I think that's what it's going to come down to. If one of those teams have a terrible – and that's the thing. There's a chance that the game will be a complete blowout.
Exactly.
And it's going to be like one team –
like, yeah, the Chiefs, I wouldn't be surprised, but the Chiefs, they can pull out this one, like, maybe put up some crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe 40 plus if it gets that bad, which I don't think it will, but they have that power to do it,
Yeah, and what I'm really hoping for, the best game, my dream game would be that LA versus Chiefs game that we saw a couple years ago.
Yeah,
that game was crazy. That was like 100 points scored in one game.
Ridiculous.
And I wouldn't be surprised if that happened. I really wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That game came down to an interception. So that's the game that we're having that wouldn't even be surprised. But I wouldn't even be surprised if it's the Chiefs who get blown out, because the thing is with Tom Brady, if he's down, he has that mentality that he can come back.
Yeah.
Mahomes is still young. If he goes down 30, he's come back from it. He did it last year versus the Texans. But is there just that point where that veteran mindset just comes in and just takes over versus a younger 4-year career? Like, is that gonna have an effect on it? That's just crazy. It's just all these factors in this game. It's just who will let up first. But yeah, and I don't know. It could be completely even. It could be just one team goes off. But then there's also that chance that it's a defensive game and it's going to be a low-scoring game.
That's a potential too.
That's potential, but I just don't see. I think that's the least likely, unless both of these teams just have great defensive games. But that should be something. But yeah, that's because I don't think the Bucks will go off and have a great defensive game. Neither do I see the Chiefs. Other than if you say like as you said, like Tyrann Mathieu, if he has a complete game, then that's probably gonna happen.
Exactly.
But yeah, definitely. But like, yeah. So, what do you think? Like, will be So, which quarter basically do you think will be like the most important to this game? I think it's gonna be the fourth quarter. I think it's gonna be the fourth quarter.
Um, the most important quarter. That's a good question. I would say I was gonna say first quarter, but like that's way too early. I think maybe third quarter after halftime.
Hmm.
Adjustments will be made,
Hmm.
and we forgot to mention about the coaching. Which coaches will
Hmm.
adjust better in the Super Bowl with any type of situation? God forbids, maybe an injury or
Hmm.
just like a scheme that they want to change or that has to be fixed. Third quarter is like how will teams adjust after halftime? How
Hmm.
will they answer?
Yeah,
Versus
that's
like you said with Patrick Mahomes, let's say the Chiefs are down by 20 points at halftime. That third quarter is gonna be very important. How would they respond? How his legacy would be known versus Tom Brady down 2024. He was down to this before. Will he do it again? Will he is gonna do it again, you know what I'm saying? It's just third quarter. I think third quarter will be the key quarter.
yeah. That's actually that makes sense because
Yeah.
and I was just bringing it up. Like, who do you think is the better coach in this situation? Put in the situation. I just
Um
have to go Andy Reid.
yeah, I'm going Andy Reid, especially like I guess more quote unquote
Yeah.
experience because of the Super Bowl and most recently in the Super Bowl.
Hmm.
I just feel like Andy Reid, he's a very intelligent individual and he's also gutsy too at times. And I feel like
Yeah.
he has the edge in the coaching
Hmm. He's
battle.
gutsy, but he's smart.
Yeah.
He's like he knows how to like. I forgot there was one team that went for it a lot. I think it may have been I forgot who it was, but they did not succeed um on their tries.
Yeah.
And it's coaches like there's some coaches who are just gutsy and just
Hmm.
don't make good play calls whenever that's needed. But Andy Reid's just smart. And what I like about both of these coaches, they let Mahomes and Brady call the offense like to their liking. Like if there's something Mahomes sees, Andy Reid will let him call something. And we saw it last year.
Exactly.
Like I think wasn't the iconic like wasp.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure
I seen that clip. Yeah.
that was I think Mahomes' call. I think
Yeah.
so. So there's freedom in that, and so part of it also comes down to who's gonna be a better game manager. Sometimes like people don't like it, but like sometimes.
I feel like Brady he will win that in that situation
Hmm.
because I'm not saying because what Patrick Mahomes does and what makes him a great player and things like that, but sometimes
Hmm.
he can do a little too much.
Hmm.
Which I want to say he wouldn't hurt him because he usually doesn't throw in interceptions like that. But at
Hmm.
times he can get a little bit what's the word I'm using? He can get a little bit careless with the ball. But
Yeah.
again, that's part of his game. But Tom Brady, he's your traditional quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Pocket, like you say, he's a pocket passing quarterback. He's a game. We just know what Tom Brady
Yeah.
does, what he's capable of doing.
Yeah. So going to that, do you think that the Chiefs right now would be better prepared for Tom Brady, or do you think that the Bucks are better prepared for Mahomes? Because we've seen what Brady can do. Like we've got way too much on Brady.
Yeah, Grant, I feel like because both teams they're here for a reason. Like they got here for a reason because I feel like the coaches they well prepared them on both sides. But I feel like Tampa, some things you cannot prepare for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Some things you can't you just can't prepare because you don't know what he's capable of doing. It
Hmm.
could be a regular play you watching the film. Next thing you know, he like you said, he might do a check down on the line or because I'm pretty sure they changed some stuff up too because they watch film. Both teams watch film as well. But
Hmm.
I feel like Patrick Mahomes, he can like I say, he can extend plays. He do crazy stuff. Do no look passes. It is
Oh yeah.
something you can't you can't get ready for Patrick Mahomes. So I feel like that the Tampa Bay defense has the less edge in the and and shit and preparing for offenses.
Yeah.
So
Um. Yeah, and to be honest, like Mahomes. like he does those things that are just crazy like that. Those
Yeah.
no look passes and throwing off balance, like, and it's crazy. He didn't know how to make reads before like a couple years ago,
Yeah.
and he just like he's so good. Like he's just raw talent, yet he puts it into action like just perfectly. But just talk about Super Bowl. But let's look at like their path. Who do you think had a crisper path to the Super Bowl? Just looking back on those games, whether it was the
The
playoffs or even the
easiest
regular
path?
season. Yeah, just a crisper, better looking path. Like just you know,
I would say the Chiefs
yeah, probably what I go.
because what did the Chiefs play? The
That's true.
Chiefs shoot, and they did have a bye. They played
Did.
Buffalo. And I feel like Buffalo, I'm not disrespecting Buffalo at all. I feel like they're a little bit overrated, especially with the defense. And then Josh Allen, you know, he's kind of he does that little free for all ball where he, you know, run around, you know, this unorthodox type of
Yeah.
quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
But versus Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they had to face um New Orleans. I believe they had to go to New Orleans and they had to go to Green Bay, which I
Yeah.
feel like that's tough to do, especially when those environments, especially with those quarterbacks and those teams.
Yeah.
I feel like Tampa Bay had it harder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tampa Bay, yeah, definitely. Because like Chiefs were playing the teams and they were just going in there and there was like a swagger about that team. They just like they were gonna beat you. They were. It was basically like a natural disaster. If it's coming through your city at home, it's just gonna it's gonna like win. You're gonna win, you know?
Exactly.
But Tampa, as we said, like they were underdogs like this whole entire season for some reason. And they were like the team that like Tom Brady's 43. He's not gonna throw like for a lot of yards. He's not gonna get it done. He's not gonna run this offense, but yet he did.
And
And
the crazy
he
thing, before the season started on my YouTube channel, I did these crazy predictions. It was like around like last March or so. I did a stupid video. I said the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would go 16-0, win the Super Bowl, which is crazy. Maybe the Super Bowl part was kind of realistic, but I said 16-0. I just want to throw that in there. I thought that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, I actually had Tampa Bay like going to Super Bowl at first, but then I was like, I'm getting way too ahead of myself.
Yeah.
And now here we are. They're in the Super Bowl. But yeah, they're and that division was one of the best looking at it from the season start. There was New Orleans, Tampa, Arizona, forget one team. Who else is in that division? Bucks, Panthers, Saints. I want to forget the team. Okay, hold up.
Panthers, Saints, Falcons. I think
Falcons. I mean, they weren't good anyways, but that's probably why I forgot them. But that division looked really good. I mean, it was really just came down to the Saints and Bucks, but I liked the Carolina Panthers going into it. That team's a really good team on paper. So
I agree.
It wasn't easy for them. And we were talking about the GOAT argument some time ago. Tom Brady has that division thing held against him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he played in a weak division. He played with the Bills whenever they were terrible. He played with the Jets when they were trying to like figure something out there.
Facts.
And then the Dolphins. But those teams were actually had their stints. Those teams had their stints in those time periods. Mm-hmm. There was not ever a time that they were all super teams or at all.
Yeah.
But looking back at it, those teams, they had Mark Sanchez who took that team to a playoff run. Miami, of course, had that amazing defense with Zach Thomas and all those guys.
Yeah.
Then the Bills, well, the Bills are kind of like the outlier. They never had a great season that was really just outstanding. They never had players, but they were borderline like okay at sometimes. Nice. So that argument is kind of flawed at the same time. But he's come to this side and just torn it up still.
He did. That's one of his biggest arguments. Like you said, just the way he came to the NFC and went straight to the Super Bowl. It's just dominance. And people try to compare that to like the LeBron comparison, which I understand what they're saying, but I feel like it's a little bit kind of different. But he just
like in the NBA, like it's not as like shocking whenever that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like NBA, and that's the thing with NBA and football. In the NBA or the NBA and NFL, NBA, you will see these big moves. You'll see LeBron go to the Lakers, but it's like that was supposed to happen. You know, there's not a player who's going to stay on the same team, who's going to play for that long and stay on the same team. And there probably hasn't ever been. I mean, Vince Carter was played till 40, and he switched through a whole bunch of teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but in the NFL, if you play to 40 and you're on a team like the Patriots as Tom Brady, that's not abnormal. That's normal.
Exactly.
That's your team. That was always your team. That's basically how the NFL works. And yeah, so I've seen that, like people like try to say like, oh, Brady did this, LeBron did this, but it's different. It really is.
It is. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So, and we talked about the Bills. You see the picture of Stephon Diggs looking back at the
Oh yeah, I've seen that. That. Yes.
I posted some. I said that was gonna be that's probably gonna become one of the most iconic picks. So looking forward into next season, who do you think? Way too early prediction. Who do you think is gonna come out top? And if you want to go into even making the Super Bowl, you can go into that.
So the team next year, like as far as like win the Super Bowl, or there's like the matchup.
You can go as far as you want, to be honest.
Super Bowls. Yeah, it is kind of too early, but because like I'm saying, it's a lot of moves that's probably still going that will happen, which is kind of messing me up a little bit. But if it's like right now, like if the team would like say if Aaron Rodgers never leaving the pack, what I think he probably will. I'm thinking maybe the Packers, the Rams.
Oh yeah, Matt Stafford.
Chiefs again. The Chiefs, they all be on top of my list.
As long as Travis Kelce, Mahomes, and all there, it's gonna be the Chiefs. I think are always gonna be favorites in the AFC.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think
like as far as like the teams that's are pretty doing like had a high seed in the playoff. I feel like they're still in that discussion. I can't really get too specific as I want to, but as far as like sleeper teams, I don't know because like I said, there's gonna be a lot of changes.
Yeah,
so I really can't picture that in my head. I'm sorry.
Yeah, really early because they're like this year we're gonna see a lot of players leave the team. That's the thing.
Yeah,
you can see what Deshaun Watson leaving. And I saw your post a couple minutes ago on the Dak thing. There's a chance he leaves.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah. Oh, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no. Who do you? Oh, you're a Steelers fan, right?
Yes, sir, I am.
Yes. Who do you think will be replacing Ben? Some people are like, oh, Haskins will probably replace Ben. First of all, do you ever want to see that?
I'm not like. I really don't hate that move that we got Dwayne Haskins versus a lot of Steelers fans. I feel like with the football team, offensively they didn't have a lot of pieces surrounding Dwayne Haskins versus in college, but you can't compare college and NFL. Yeah. But I feel like we have better pieces in Pittsburgh. I feel like we have somewhat of a better coaching staff, better head coach. And then without picking the draft, I'm hoping we get Najee Harris to help out that running game, who's had the worst rushing game in the NFL. I'm not blaming all the running backs. You know, the line, they could have done better as well. But I feel like Dwayne Haskins, it would be the appropriate move to start him. I feel like give him another chance.
Okay.
I feel like he has the talent, everything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you think Ben's gonna be leaving after the season?
That I do not. I feel like he's still gonna be on the team, but I feel like he probably won't be starting. I feel like he's more of a mentor to whoever.
Okay.
Yeah, whoever the quarterback is.
I mean,
like a little mentor, whatever.
But I mean, Ben did play really well, though.
He did.
And I don't know. It's like there's a chance that he plays a whole year, but I feel they signed Dwayne Haskins on a 1-year contract.
Mm-hmm.
There's a chance that that's a show me deal,
Yeah,
and that they
that's what I'm
play him.
saying.
And it could be like what Kirk Cousins had to do in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised, but like Ben.
See, the thing about Ben is that, yeah, you're right. He did have he had an outstanding season.
Yeah.
Like, cause he's pretty old too for quarterbacks and things like that.
Mhm.
But it's just that quarterbacks like today, they're fresh. Everybody has like a new young quarterback who can move somewhat, have a strong arm. It's just that I feel like sometimes Ben, he can be stiff in the pocket. He can try to extend plays like he's 25, which he's not.
Yeah. I think the scariest thing about Ben is the fact that he's always played like, well, if I take a hit, I'm just gonna get out of it. And that's just not a great way to play. I mean, he's playing like a power back, but he's a quarterback. Like, it's not a healthy like combination, and that's gonna hurt him in the longevity argument. It's just he's trying to stand in there taking hits that he's not supposed to be after coming off an injury.
Yeah.
That was devastating to his career almost. But that's just who he is, and it's hard to get out of that whenever you play like that for like so many years. And it's just hard to like get out of that mindset and that type of style. So it really just depends. Can he change that game? He changed his style of game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like that. I don't think they should try that.
Yeah.
That experiment. It's basically like a project quarterback now. Basically what it turned into. It's like, is he gonna change for the better? Is he gonna, be reliable for another 4 years at most? And I don't see why you would do that when he's 35 and a perfect mentor for a guy like Dwayne Haskins and whoever they bring in.
Yeah.
So yeah, but we got other people like Deshaun Watson here in the market. He's gonna be a big name, of course. But then there's also the receivers. There's also the big parts. So where those guys go, Allen Robinson. But see, those guys, it's hard to judge. It's hard to say because like I can see Allen Robinson. Well, I think Allen Robinson wants out of there.
Yeah.
But this like players like Chris Godwin, I think he'll easily resign. But yeah, it's like stuff like that. So, but for quarterbacks, I think Matthew Stafford got traded or is going to get traded, of course.
Yeah.
Deshaun, I haven't going to the.
Did you hear about on Twitter as far as the Bears looking for a trade for Carson Wentz?
Oh, I did not know.
One of my friends texted me about that. I think they're working up something to get Wentz within a few days or so.
Yeah, no, I did not hear about that. That would be interesting. And the Bears have had that. They had that quarterback merry-go-round this season with Nick Foles, Trubisky just coming in and out. That was actually painful to watch.
It was.
It really was. And Nick Foles, it's just Philadelphia for him. I've never seen a quarterback only succeed with one team twice. Like every single time he leaves, he just becomes a backup. He just isn't good. Just terrible. Like he was contemplating retiring in St. Louis back when they were in St. Louis, and came to Philly, wins the Super Bowl out of nowhere. I've never seen a player like that. And now he's gone to Chicago, and like the Nick Foles like saga, it's become a backup. And it's just painful to watch that. And there, of course, we said they're gonna lose Allen Robinson and people like that. So, yeah. So I think because we got a big segment, I think this could be it for this segment.
Yeah.
So, again, thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Yeah, maybe we can work something in next time as well.
For sure. I enjoy myself.
Yeah. So if you want to go ahead, sign us off, shout yourself out, you can go ahead and do that.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for joining. Zdario, aka Jimmy D, Mr. Hard, Clean, and Crispy. Super Bowl Sunday, man. Thank you again. Thank you for having me. I enjoyed
Uh-huh.
myself. Hit me up anytime you want to do another podcast, man.
Yeah, definitely. And guys, that's gonna be it. See you guys next time.
Right.
That's